Department of the Air Force, Headquarters, Air Force Reserve Command, Robins Air Force Base, Georgia. Special order dated 2 March 2013 under the provisions of Air Force Instructions 51604. Brigadier General Brian E. Dominguez relinquishes command of the 910th Airlift Wing, Youngstown Air Reserve Station, Ohio, effective 2 March 2013. And Colonel James D. Dignan assumes command. Signed, Major General Ferris.
Sir, I assume command.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the new commander of the 910th Airlift Wing, Colonel James D. Dignan.
Good morning, 910th Airlift Wing. Hey, Dad, who would have thought? General Ferris, General Dominguez, it's an honor and a pleasure. Welcome to the opportunity. Look forward to it. Fellow commanders, distinguished guests, civic leaders, friends and family, thank you all for coming. This has been great. You guys look awesome back there. You guys missed most of it from the back, but I'm pretty impressed. It's good. As many of you know, I just spent the better part of the last week driving across country. And choosing to drive across the northern tier of our country in late February, not the best idea I ever had, but the snow, I think it followed me for the last 2,650 miles, give or take, and it's here. But any of you that have driven that vast expanse of our country know that there's a whole lot of nothing, especially this time of year. So it gave me some time to reflect, contemplate about what brought me to stand here today, and what was the path, how did it go? Well, as with all of us, it's a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, some timing, and then things just happen. So, as I got to thinking about it, one thing kept coming back to me, and it's the concept of family. And I don't mean the family that raised me, taught me right from wrong, that belonging to something larger than oneself was important, but family, our DoD family, our Air Force family, the Air Reserve component, our Air Force Reserve family, and then the tight-knit community family that we have here, that is the 910th Airlift Wing at Youngstown Air Reserve Station. I said, okay, how did this family drive? Each of us has our own story, and I'm going to give you a little bit of mine. Approaching 18 years of Air Force career in about 2 minutes. It was going to be about 10, but General Ferris took up too much time. So, come off active duty Navy, I still wanted to serve. And I wanted to go back to Portland, Oregon. The only person I knew back in Portland, Oregon that was serving happened to be my old high school physics teacher. Sound familiar? Colonel Slattery, our vice high school physics teacher. But it just so happened at the time, he was the squadron commander of the F-15 unit in the 142nd back in Portland, Oregon. So I called him up and said, hey sir, what are the odds I could get an interview, set up something, come out and get off active duty, and I'd like to join the Oregon Air National Guard. He goes, all right, James, I'll set it all up. Come out and meet the guys. Long story short, they hired me into the unit, and I was waiting to get off active duty, and the year was 1994. It was a tumultuous time. Many of you remember continuing resolution after continuing resolution, the shutdown of government. Newt Gingrich, Clinton, nothing happened. We never did get a defense authorization that year. Long story short, post-Cold War drawdown, the unit lost 20 pilot slots. Well, you can see the writing on the wall. I wasn't going to fly an F-15, but I still wanted to serve. I ended up going into the combat comm, and I did that for a while. did a couple of deployments, and I really truly enjoyed being in the Air Force, and I enjoyed the reserve component. But I was itching to get back in the cockpit. So one day I walked across the street, the 939th Rescue Wing was also in Portland, and that's the Air Force Reserve Unit. I went in and I said, hey, I'm interested in becoming a C-130 pilot. You guys have any slots? They're like, sorry, no slots. We're going through a mission transition and things are changing. We don't have any openings. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So it's like, well, the guy goes, but wait, I do know a unit that's looking to hire. I said, really? He goes, yeah, it's Willow Grove. I said, Willow Grove, where's that? He said, it's in Northeast Pennsylvania. If you're willing to commute, I'm sure they'd be willing to interview. And I said, sure, why not? So I got the contact number and picked up the phone and I called a gentleman by the name of Colonel Tim Thompson. Some of you might remember him. You see how this family thing keeps us all together. And he was the operations group commander at the time, and he set me up with the interviews and went through it and did all that. Long story short, Willow Grove hired me, sent me off to Little Rock, trained me in the C-130. I came back, did a couple of deployments, and it was time for my annual recurring check ride. So I come back, I'm a little bit nervous, my first real one back in the unit, and I said, let's see, who's the evaluator today? And some of you might know this guy too. Then Captain Bill Phillips was my evaluator for that first recurring check ride. More later. But anyway, he did let me pass that time, so we're looking forward to it. At this point, I was really enjoying my time, not just in the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve, but in the C-130. And I had an opportunity to become full-time Air Reserve technician, and I made the switch. I ended up, as General Ferris said, down in Keesler. And I was down there, got all checked out in the mission, and one day I was out to do a weekend cross-country with aeromedical folks, doing a trainer going to Lackland and Penn Kelly Air Force Base in San Antonio. And the director of operations of the squadron comes up and goes, hey James, got something for you this weekend. I said, yes sir, what's that? And he goes, have you met the operations commander yet? I said, no sir, I haven't. He goes, well, he's a great guy, he knows everything there is to know about the Air Force Reserve and the ARC program, so take him out, have a good time, just stay out of trouble. So, briefing time, then Colonel Ferris walks in, and we took him out. I think we had a good time. Did I stay out of trouble? Sort of. Oh. Well, I was well known as a very quiet, unassuming captain. Maybe not so much, but. What about integrity, James? Sure. But roll that forward about a decade, actually about 12, 13 years from then, to this January. I'm on my way to my pre-UTA meeting out at McCord, his old stomping grounds. And I get this phone call, and I said, hello. Now, Major General Ferris says, James, how'd you like to come out to Youngstown to be the new 910th Airlift Wing Commander? I said, sir, I would absolutely love to. The 910th has a great reputation, always had. As I remember, we used to bring our airplanes up here to get them fixed, when, especially at Keesler, when we struggled with our maintenance down there. And this was one of the places that we counted on to get that done. So our families all touch each other, especially in the reserves. I mean, it's true throughout the military, but especially in the reserves, and in a place that's such a tight-knit community like Youngstown. So it's an honor to be here, but I wanted to add one more thing. My wife and girls weren't able to be here. We made plans before I knew that this was going to be a possibility. My wife is born in Czechoslovakia, raised in what became Slovakia, and my wife and girls are back there, so my girls can do some education and language. So they're there for the second half of the school year. So they unfortunately weren't able to make it, but there's a connection there in that family as well, because I couldn't do this without my family's support. But I got this clarified from my wife this morning, that Skype is great. Her great-grandmother, just after World War I, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was being dismantled, and that was Slovakia started for a short period after that, but a lot of turmoil. So, great-grandmother was married, and her two younger sisters weren't. They went with a cousin to follow the American dream. Took everything they had, left everyone they knew, and got on a ship and set forward to America to see what was new, what was out there for them. And as all things would happen, they ended up settling right here in the Mahoning Valley. And so my wife has relatives right here in the area, some that she's only conversed with via email and such. So she's really looking forward to getting out here, as all of my girls are. And they'll be here this summer, so hopefully you get to meet them then. And then the only other one I wanted to have was my oldest. She's 10, late bloomer, so we got 10, 9, and 3. But the 10-year-old tells me, when I told her we're moving, she goes, Daddy, when are you going to get a real job? So, I said, I don't know, not yet, honey. They're still letting me fly. As long as we do that, we'll go. But I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. I look forward to working with all of you. And I thank you all for coming. Look forward to the opportunity. Thanks again.